Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu was-salamu ala Rasulihil Kareem. Wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man istanna bi sunnatihi ila yawmiddin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers. Unfortunately, Sheikh Yusuf is not here today. He has some other appointments, so he told me to give the lectures on behalf of him, something that can be beneficial for everyone. So as we know that we do our Seerah class of Rasulullah Sallam, the life of Rasulullah Sallam, every Sunday, and we have been doing it for almost 8-9 months. So today I have picked a story from the Seerah, and then inshallah we'll go through the story as we have probably an hour or so, and from the story we'll try to get some benefit out of it. And a lot of people probably don't know about this story, but it is a very important story in the life of Rasulullah Sallam, and also there is Quranic verses and surahs related to this. So inshallah ta'ala we'll go through it slowly and we'll see what benefit we can derive from the story of the if. It's called if means the slander about the Aisha radhiyallahu anha, our mother Ummahatul Mu'minin. So some introductory comment that Aisha radhiyallahu anha, as you know, that she was the most beloved of the wives of Rasulullah sallam after Khadija radhiyallahu anha passed away, and it is mentioned in the Sahih Hadith. And as I mentioned, that this is the most sensitive and traumatic incident in the life of Rasulullah. Why is that? Because it is something very, very personal. It is a personal matter with Rasulullah, with his wife, with his most beloved wife. And that's why it is very sensitive. And you know, the books of Seerah is mentioned a lot of things about this story. But the interesting thing is that this story is vividly recorded in all the authentic books, Bukhari, Muslim. And there are hadiths about this story, pages after page. And the describer, the narrator of the hadith is Aisha radhiyallahu anha herself. Imagine something going bad about you and you are telling it for the whole ummah without no hiding and nothing. What kind of iman or what kind of person was Aisha radhiyallahu anha? Imagine that. From this very point we can understand that. So now the story begins. I will summarize these things actually, basically how it started. Usually when Rasulullah sallam used to go for any expedition, any ghazwat or any kind of journey, he used to take, sometimes, not all the time, sometimes he used to take one of his wives. And this is the time it happened in the life of Medina. At that time Rasulullah almost had probably 7 or 8 wives living with him. So what he used to do, he used to cast lot. So just he used to it's a very traditional thing in Arab, and it is allowed in our Sharia that you can do something like lottery, you can say, but nothing to do with money or anything. So sometimes you have like straw, like long straw. So you have like 7 straw. One of them is like a longer one, so you give it to the spread. So whoever took the long one, he's just selected. So something like that, and it is allowed in our Sharia in the books of the fiqh. And also, so this journey, Rasulullah did the same thing, and the name of the Aisha radhiyallahu anha has been selected. So they went through the journey. And this journey was a attack, there's expedition for a nearby tribe. It's called Banul Mustalak, and the place is called Al Muraisiya. So over there they're going, and it was a very easy win for the Muslim army. So they easily win over the enemy, and they were coming back. But this battle, although it's a very easy one for Rasulullah sallam, there are some special things happening here. This is the battle where the Munafiqun, the hypocrites, took part in this battle. Before this battle, there's 2 big battles happened, Badr and Uhud. You all know about Badr and Uhud. And in Badr, there's no Munafiqun at that time. In Uhud, you know what they did? They went at the middle of the path and they just came back from the battlefield. So those 2 battles. But this battle, the Munafiqun took part. Why? Because they knew that it is an easy target. They knew they're going to win it. And they knew there's a lot of, ganima, a lot of booty of the war they will get. So, out of the greed and everything, they took part. Anyway, when they were coming back, an incident happened. That was a different incident, that Allah exposed the Munafiqun and what they are planning and how they are, they are planning to do damage to the Muslim people. So when they were coming back, Rasulullah camped in a place, and in that place everybody was tired from the war and everything. They take a nap and they sleep. And when everybody was tired and sleep, Aisha radhiyallahu anha, she had to attend the call of nature. So she get out of the hijab or the canopy. I'll talk about what is hijab means actually here. So on the top of the camel they have a small, it's called hawdaj, or like a small, like a canopy type of thing. So you're inside that, and that time the ayah of the hijab, the regulation of the hijab has already been revealed. So it has been established. So she came from there and she did her thing. When she was coming back, she lost one of her necklace. And this necklace was given by Rasulullah SAW as a gift to her, and it was made of some stones. It's not like diamond or gold or jewelry. Imagine at that time the other kings of Persia, the kings of Roman, they have so many treasures, everything. But our Prophet ﷺ, he gave a small gift like a shining quartz stone, something like the necklace was made of this. So she was emotionally attached to that. She was trying to find the necklace, and it took a long time. When she came back and she saw everybody woke up and they left the place. So she was just by herself. And the people who are carrying her camel, she is telling that, she, in the description of the hadith, she is telling, she's like, trying to, give excuse for those people, because she was very younger at that time. She was probably, 11 or 12 years old at that time, and she doesn't weigh that much. She is not a heavy person. So the people who took the camel, they didn't understand whether the canopy is empty or, is there someone there. So they didn't realize whether it's empty or not. So they just left with Rasulullah SAW, and it left happening. So, she felt a little bit lonely over there. Nobody's in the middle of the desert, no one is there. But she was a brave lady, and she thought, definitely Allah will help me. Allah will send someone else to rescue me. So I will just stay here, I'll just take rest here. So she stayed there, and she was taking rest, and she fell asleep, obviously. And when she woke up, she heard someone is saying, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. So there was a young Sahaba. He also actually fell asleep. He was tired. He also missed the thing. And his name was Safwan ibn Mu'attal. So Safwan, he woke up and he saw Aisha radhiyallahu anha. Because Aisha radhiyallahu was covered in a hijab and niqab, but he understood, because he saw Aisha before, so he understood this is the wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he didn't say any other word, because it's a matter of the hijab and the haya. He just brought the camel and told Aisha radhiyallahu anha, okay, he just makes some gesture, you come to the camel, and then I will take you to back to Medina. So Aisha radhiyallahu anha get onto the camel again, and they went back to the Medina, and by that day was running fast, and they could caught up with the people. So they, at the back of the Muslim army was still not yet at Medina. Before they reached Medina, they joined with them. But at the back of the Muslim army was the leader of the Munafiqun, Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul. He was the head of the Munafiqun. And as I said, in that battle there is something happened, and Allah revealed the Surah Munafiqun. There's a surah called Surah Munafiqun. Allah revealed that surah in that incident. And Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul, inside he is burning. He don't like Rasulullah, he don't like the Muslim people. So he was trying to take revenge or something. So when he saw that Aisha radhiyallahu is coming, the camel of Aisha radhiyallahu coming, and it was coming through Safwan ibn Mu'attal, so that's the time he started the rumor. So he is the one who started the rumor. So this is how the incident started. Now, the hijab. The hijab, as we know, all so if we say, our sister, our mother were wearing a hijab, what do we understand? We mean hijab means the scarf, and the clothes on top of it. But hijab in Quranic language, it doesn't mean that. Hijab basically means a curtain. So, if some sisters are sitting there, that curtain is called hijab. That's the language. And for the wife of Rasulullah SAW, the hijab was extra. So it's not only covering their body, they are covering the whole space. So if a wife of Rasulullah is sitting here, the whole place should be covered. So nobody can even see their figure. That is the hijab. That canopy, that curtain is called hijab. But here now in modern Arabic language, hijab means the scarf. But in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, khimar or jilbab, these are the two words Allah used for other Muslim ladies and all other Muslim believers, that they should wear the khimar and the jilbab, and it is also in the same surah, the Surah An-Nur, that Allah revealed the laws of the hijab. So, but the by hijab means at that time the curtain or everything of the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's wives. The next one, how did Aisha radhiyallahu anha came to know about this story? So when he returned back to Medina, she fell sick and she had a very high fever for almost a month. So she doesn't know anything what's going on in Medina, what type of rumor is spreading here and there. She had no idea about that one. So one day, after almost a month, she went with one of her aunt. Her name was Mistah. Mistah means the mother of Mistah. She went with the Mistah, her aunt, to some other place, and to attend the call of nature. And then they were coming back. When they were coming back, that lady Mistah, she tripped down. She fall, and out of anger or something, she said, "Why hak Mistah?" Why hak Mistah means she's cursing her son. So Aisha was surprised. Why are you cursing your son? Your son is a pious Muslim. Mistah, he took part in the Badr. and the people who took part in the Badr, they are special Sahaba. And as you all know, that the people who took part in Badr, they have special blessings. So Aisha was saying, why are you cursing your son? He was a righteous man. Then the Mistah, she understood that Aisha doesn't know anything, because that son of the lady Mistah, he is one of the Sahaba who also took part in spreading this rumor. Who was also one of them who did the spreading of the rumor. We'll talk about him later. So then the lady said to Aisha that, don't you know what's happening? Aisha said, no, what's happening? I don't know anything. Then she told the whole story that what's going on. And when she heard it, she almost fainted. She said, how could people say these things about me? And how could people believe this about things? And this is how she know about this thing. And she went back. She was sick almost for a month. Now she is physically sick, and emotionally she got more sick. And she was crying after crying after crying. And the first thing she didn't went to Rasulullah and start crying and everything, because she was a smart lady, although she was so young, but Allah has given her so much wisdom and everything. Instead of doing all these things, she just asked Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah, can I go back to my parents' house for some days? He just asked, I need your permission to go back to my parents' house, to house of Abu Bakr. And the house of Abu Bakr is bit far from the masjid of Rasulullah at that time. So Rasulullah, yes, you can go. But Rasulullah already know about these things. And Aisha mentioned that she understood that last 1 month, Rasulullah didn't say anything to her, but the behavior of Rasulullah is a little bit changed. He came, he asked her, Aisha, how are you feeling and everything, but that's it. But the closeness that they had before, the closeness is not there anymore. So she could understand a little bit, but now she understood that this is the reason that also Rasulullah also going through a big trouble, big stress, emotional stress and everything. So, she understood that. So what she did, she went to her parents' house. Now what did Rasulullah did in the last 1 month? We need to know that. Rasulullah obviously, and this is a proof that, the wahi, a lot of people, the non-Muslims say that, Rasulullah astaghfirullah, is a false prophet or everything. Imagine if he is a false prophet, the next day he could have said, okay, I've got the wahi from Jibril. Jibril came and so there's no problem in there. But he is also a human being. He is a prophet, he is a Rasul of Allah, but at the end he is also a human being. So he is also going through the same tension, and Allah didn't reveal anything for him for the last 1 month. Allah didn't send Jibril, or Jibril didn't come, or he didn't see any dream about this incident. So he was also going through some trouble. So that's why he asked few close people of this family. So first of all, he asked Usama bin Zaid. Usama bin Zaid was one of the very close relative of Rasulullah. He was the son of Zaid ibn Harisa. So he asked, Rasulullah asked Usama about Aisha, what do you think about this incident? What do you know about these things? Because Usama grew up as a young child in the house of Rasulullah. So Usama said, I have nothing against your wives, and especially with Aisha, she is all pure and all righteous. So she has nothing to say, so nothing negative he said. Same thing, he asked Ali radiallahu anha, because Ali was, the Ahlul Bayt, and he was also the brother of Rasulullah, the cousin. So he asked Ali radiallahu anhu, and Ali said, Ya Rasulullah, I also don't know anything bad about Aisha, but he said that Allah has given you option. If the matter is true, you have options to go further. Meaning he's saying that if it is really true, then you have you can get married to other people. So he's just giving a suggestion. Nothing like he's saying anything against of Aisha. And also he suggested, why didn't you ask the servant of Aisha? So Aisha radiallahu anha has a servant, the female servant. You can ask her, she may know, because she is always close to Aisha. Rasulullah said, okay, that's fine. So Rasulullah asked the servant, and her name was Barira. Barira was a lady, she was a free servant of Aisha. So when Rasulullah asked Barira said, I know everything good about Aisha except for one thing. Then Rasulullah, what is that one thing? And she said, sometimes she makes dough to make bread for you, and she falls asleep, and the goat comes and eat it. This is her sin. Imagine what she's saying, that sometimes Aisha make dough for bread for Rasulullah, but she was young, maybe she's tired, she falls asleep, and by the time she couldn't cover it up, a goat comes and see. And the Barira, she thought she shouldn't hide anything because Rasulullah is asking, right? So she said everything, even this little thing also said, and other than that everything is fine. Also Rasulullah asked his another wife, Zainab bint Jahsh. Zainab bint Jahsh, Aisha Rasulullah mentioned that the wives of Rasulullah has some of the jealousy. It's a natural thing, when you have few wives, they have natural jealousy between them. So Zainab bint Jahsh was one of the lady who had some jealousy with Aisha, and Aisha also have some jealousy in a positive way. So Rasulullah asked Zainab bint Jahsh, but she also said, no, I know, Allah is, wallahi, I know only good things about Aisha radhiyallahu anha. After that, Rasulullah called a general meeting in the gathering of the masjid. So Rasulullah called everybody, because now everybody in Medina know about this thing, but nobody can have the courage to come and talk to Rasulullah. So as the imam, as a leader, he called a jama in the masjid. So everybody come. And in the masjid, Rasulullah said, do you think that one who did this thing, one who started this rumor, do I have the right to be angry with him? What do you think? What should I do with him? So he's asking the people, what a low thing that he did, the munafiqun, what should I do? So one of the Sahaba from the Ansar, he is from Aus, his name is Sa'ad ibn Muaz. He is one of the greatest Sahaba, one of the greatest Ansar. He has a different story. So he stand up and he said, Ya Rasulullah, if he is from my tribe, I will kill him. If he is from my tribe, I will definitely kill him. If he is from a different tribe, you order me, then I will kill him. At the same time, there is another Sa'ad. His name is Sa'ad ibn Ubadah. He is from the other tribe. He woke up and he got a bit angry because he said, how can you say you're going to kill a people from my tribe? So they have some tribal problem. So Rasulullah said, no, don't fight, just calm down. Allah will decide what to do. So he calmed them down, and the gathering was like this, it happened like this. After that, when everything is done, Rasulullah had a feeling that, okay, my Usama, the Ali ibn Abi Talib, Barira, all these people say good things about Aisha, and also he also loved Aisha the most. So he also has a feeling that there's nothing wrong in that. So he went to visit Aisha in the house of Abu Bakr. At that time, Aisha was sleeping in the bed. She was sick as it is, and she was crying. And also her mother, Ruman was there. Her father, Abu Bakr radhiyallahu anhu, was also there. So what Rasulullah said to her, oh Aisha, there are something going about you in the city. If you are not, if you haven't done this one, if you are innocent, don't worry, Allah will clear everything for you. But if you have slipped in and if you made an error, so just turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask for repentance. Allah is the Ghafurur Rahim, He will forgive. When this said, then Aisha radhiyallahu said, she became a little bit of angry. Because she thought, how can you believe even that, I can do this? She became a little bit of angry with the Rasulullah that how can you believe? And then she talked to her mother that, mother, can you say something on behalf of me? Then the mother said, what can I say? He is Rasulullah sallallahu. The same thing with Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr said, what can I say? And then she turned back and she said, I have nothing to say except that I remember a ayah from the Quran. And then she said she couldn't remember the name of the person who did this. She said Abu Yusuf said this. And who is Abu Yusuf? Abu Yusuf is the father of Yusuf alayhi salam, Yaqub. So she couldn't remember the name, but at least she gave a kunya that Abu Yusuf said this in Suratul Yusuf. So she is telling this to Rasulullah that fasbir sabran jamila. So have patience and Allah will help you. So she just quoted something from Quran, and she said to Rasulullah that that's what I have to say. And then she turned back and look at the iman of him. When her mother, her father, her husband, nobody is helping her because they are not also faulty because they don't also know what is truth and what is false. But she turned back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and she was just waiting for Allah to help him. And at that time, Rasulullah started getting the wahi. Because when Rasulullah started getting the wahi, he used to sweat a lot and he used to lower his head. So people around him, they saw that Rasulullah is getting something from Jibril. And after a few seconds, Rasulullah laughed. He laughed and he said, oh Aisha, Allah has declared your innocence. And at that time, Allah revealed the first 10 verses of Surah An-Nur. And in that, Allah said that, that she is completely free from any kind of allegation, any kind of anything. And Aisha radhiyallahu said, I thought, I had hope that Allah will help me. I knew that Allah will help me. I thought, but I never thought that Allah will reveal some ayah of the Quran. This is too much of honor for me. She thought that maybe Allah will show a dream to Rasulullah sallallahu and Rasulullah will understand, or Allah will do something that people can understand that she's not faulty. But then Allah then revealed the Surah An-Nur, and the first part of the Surah An-Nur, and in that surah Allah said that this is the happening, and people who did this, they should be punished, and what should be the punishment. All these rules and regulation about how you should be punished if you say something bad about a righteous lady, if you do slandering, and what should be done. And this is what happened. So people who are responsible, as we know, as the story happens here, the Munafiqun, obviously they are the main guy, and the head of them is Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul. So he is the main leader, he is the responsible. The non-Munafiqun, the three Sahaba who were responsible, who did the Namima. So what was their fault? They didn't make a lie. So they just heard the story from the Munafiqun and they tell it to someone else. So they didn't create any lie, but this is called Namima. There is three things, we will talk about it. There's one thing called lie. So if I lie about one of my brother, I say, okay, I know this brother is, drinking wine. I saw him. It's a complete lie. That's one thing. Then if I say that, this brother, he looks very, short and dark. He doesn't look good. Probably it's true, but this is a giba. This is backbiting. I'm saying something bad against him. And there's something that is, I heard this story. Some two people are talking about someone, other brother, and I heard it, and I went to other friend. I say, okay, look, I know that I heard a story about this brother. He's saying this is called namima, and all these three things is very, very dangerous, and they're major sin in Islam. So the punishment for those three people, Mr. Hassan bin Sabit and Hamala bin Tejash. Hamala bin Tejash was the sister of Zainab bin Tejash, and Hassan ibn Sabit also was a righteous Sahaba, but they are also human beings, so they made the error, and according to the Quranic law, they have been punished through 80 lashes. So there was 80 lashes on each of them as described in the Surah An-Nur. So this is what happened. As for the Munafiqun, Allah let them go. Rasulullah let them go. Why? Because if they had punishment in this dunya, then they won't have any punishment in Akhirah. So Rasulullah let them go because they say, no, we didn't do that. They just lie after lie after lie. So Rasulullah said, okay, I leave you with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah said, they will have a severe punishment in the Akhirah. So they didn't have any lashing, but the people who are Sahaba, these three people, they got the lash and they said, we want your forgiveness, O Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The next thing, there are three, and with this one, inshallah ta'ala, we'll finish. There are a few incidents related to this one. One of the incidents, this guy Mista, as I'm talking about Mista, he was a Sahaba, but he was very poor. So Abu Bakr always used to help him with the money. He used to give him some stipend, some money to help Mista. But once Abu Bakr heard that Mista did this thing, he did a mistake, and he took part in this giba and this namima. Abu Bakr said, Wallahi, from now on I'm never going to help him, which is legal. Imagine if you know that a brother is talking bad about your son or your daughter. If someone says something bad about my daughter, and I know that this guy talked bad about my daughter, will I help him? No, it's obvious, it's natural that I'm going to get angry. But it was quite natural for Abu Bakr to get angry. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the ayah for him in the Surah An-Nur, ayah number 22, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, people who are righteous and people who have money, they should not say wallahi that I'm not going to help. You should forgive and forget. Allah is saying you should forgive and forget and help them. Imagine what kind of law is Allah is revealing here, that even if someone is doing bad to you, but Allah is saying just forgive and forget them and help as you do. Don't you want Allah to forgive you? And the second incident happened with another Sahaba. His name is Abu Ayyub al-Ansari. What happened with Abu Ayyub al-Ansari? His wife, they also lived in Medina. See, his wife also heard this story, this rumor. And she came home and she was about to tell her husband, did you hear? She just said, did you hear? And Abu Ayyub al-Ansari, he understood. And he said, stop here. You should not say anything like this. This is a great sin if you talk like this. And from this we learn that even talking between husband or wife, if you talk something bad, like suppose you came back from office, something happened in your colleagues in the office or something, and you talk about that with your wife, that is also considered as giba, as backbiting. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, honored Abu Ayyub al-Ansari in the surah, same surah Nur, in ayah number 16, Allah is saying, Allah is saying to the other people, why didn't you do like this guy? This guy said to his wife, that don't say this, stop here. You should be like this guy. So Allah is saying he is your role model. This guy Ayyub al-Ansari, he should be a role model to you guys. This is what he did. And the last incident happened with the guy Safwan. The Safwan is the guy, as you know, who was the young Sahaba who brought Aisha back to Medina, and Hassan ibn Sabit. what happened basically, Safwan, when he heard all this story, all this human, he was a young guy, so he became angry. So he went to Hassan and he said, how can you say these bad things about the wife of Rasulullah? How can you say about this? Don't you know me? I grew up with you, I'm your friend and everything. How can you say this? So by this, he got angry, and with his sword, he gave him like a punch. So he punched Hassan ibn Sabit. So Hassan ibn Sabit got injured, and he has his blood coming out of his face. And Safwan, he went from there. But Hassan went to Rasulullah and complained. They look, Safwan did this one. Again, what Safwan did actually out of the anger, and which is legitimate, because yes, Hassan did something bad. He did take part of the backbiting. But Safwan was angry. But because our deen, our Islam is fair for everyone, so, and you cannot take the law in your hand. You cannot just beat anybody out of your anger. So Rasulullah said, no, Hassan is right in this case. And say, oh Hassan, you have two options. You can either beat him or you can forgive him. So he said, okay, I forgive him. But he was given a garden. He was given a garden as a compensation from the Safwan ibn Muttal. So this is the three stories that related with this one. The last one, the overall lessons from this whole story that we can get. Obviously, the sins, the lying and Giba and Namima, these are major sins, and we should be very, very careful about this. We had a khutbah here on Friday, inshallah. I remember probably a few weeks back, and I talked about the backbiting. This is one thing, this is one major sin that we do without even our knowledge. And inshallah, alhamdulillah, all of us here, we don't drink wine, we don't kill people, we don't do zina. All of these big sins, we are out of this. But this one, even in the masjid we do this. Backbiting and slandering and everything. Even we come to pray, after the prayer, before the prayer, we get together, talk, and sometimes by mistake we do something. So we have to be very, very careful. And we mentioned that a hadith before about this one, that every morning, all of our body parts, when you wake up, they talk to the tongue. Rasulullah said, all the body parts of our body, they talk to the tongue, and they say, "O tongue, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you are right, then we are right. If you are wrong, then we are wrong." Meaning the tongue is so important, if he is doing something wrong, all the body parts will have punishment in the akhirah. So that's why we should be very, very careful about this kind of sin, like saying some bad about other people. The second one, the lesson we can learn, the test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all believers. So Allah loved those, and Allah take taste of the believers, as Allah mentioned in the Quran so many times. Even the young wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Aisha, she went through such a test, such a big test for herself, that her honor and everything was on stake. The third thing, the lowness of the munafiqun. The munafiqun is so bad, and they went so much low, and that's why Allah say in the Quran that the munafiqun will be in the lowest part of the hellfire, because they were so mean, so low in their thinking, that they did this kind of thing. Also, the fairness of Islamic law, as we already talked about this, that how even if you are angry, but you shouldn't hit anybody, and the law should be divided properly. Also, the character of the companions, how the Sahaba, they fallen into error, but they asked for business from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they took the punishment in this world, so that they can be free from this punishment in the akhirah. Obviously, the fruit of the patience in the whole story, our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and also the wife of Rasulullah Aisha radhiyallahu anha, and all her parents and everybody who loves her, they were all patient. They were waiting for the decision of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They didn't do anything out of the patience, out of the hastiness. So everything they do with the patience. Also the power of Tawheed and Iman. As we all know, that when Aisha radhiyallahu anha, she has the Iman to believe in Allah, and she was waiting for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help her, and that's what happened. At the end, Allah helped her. So when you are in trouble, we're in a musibah, we should be patient, and we should seek the forgiveness, we should seek the help from only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the last but not the least, the honor of Aisha radhiyallahu anha. As we mentioned, that Allah from the seventh heaven, He Himself sent Quran for her to clear her all the doubts, to give the honor that she deserves. So this is how this story ends here, and these are the lessons that we can take. And there are a lot of other books, or a lot of books written on this story itself to get the benefit from it. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us guidance to understand this and get the benefit from this. Jazakallahu khair. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta. takfiru kau tu bilai.